Imagine, a girl from a humble background receives a marriage proposal from a wealthy family, a proposal without any dowry demands, a situation that seems too good to be true. This is the story of a girl born and brought up in a modest family, always living a simple and unpretentious life. She was the jewel of her parents' eyes, a beacon of hope and a source of pride. Her parents, despite their humble means, had big dreams for their daughter. They envisioned her leading a happy and prosperous life, a life they could only dream of. One day, out of the blue, a marriage proposal arrived from a wealthy family, a family that was seemingly well off, and what's more, they did not demand any dowry. It was as if their prayers had been answered. The excitement was palpable, the joy was uncontainable. The family was thrilled at the prospect of their daughter marrying into such a family that could provide her with the life they had always dreamt of. However, amidst the joy and the excitement, there was a lingering sense of doubt. A wealthy family with no dowry demands. It seemed too good to be true. Adding to these doubts was the boy's behavior. He was quiet, reserved, and showed little interest in interacting with the girl. He did not even look at her during their first meeting. His silence, his lack of interaction, was unsettling. The girl felt uneasy. Something did not feel right. She voiced her concerns to her parents, but they dismissed them, attributing his behavior to his respect for their tradition and culture. As the days passed, the boy's silence raised questions in the girl's mind. His behavior, his lack of interaction, it all seemed strange. The joy and excitement of the proposal were slowly replaced with a sense of unease and uncertainty. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey filled with unexpected turns and revelations. The wedding bells rang, and the girl's life took a dramatic turn. As the euphoria of the wedding celebrations subsided, the unsettling reality began to unfold. The man she had married was not the man she had imagined. His behavior was peculiar, childish even, lacking the maturity and responsibility one would expect from a grown man. He seemed lost in his own world, oblivious to his duties as a husband. Under the impression that she was marrying an educated man with a secure job, she was shocked to find out that her husband was neither educated nor employed. The family had deceived her, painting a false picture of their son's capabilities and achievements. This revelation was a rude awakening for the girl, a cruel blow to her dreams and expectations. Despite her shock and disappointment, she tried to address the issue with her in-laws. She hoped that they would understand her concerns, that they would admit their deception and help their son to grow and mature. But their response was far from supportive. They denied any wrongdoing, insisting their son was normal and not mad. They dismissed her concerns as trivial and blamed her for creating problems. The girl was trapped in a situation where her voice was suppressed, her concerns were dismissed, and she was expected to accept the life she was thrust into. She was in a house that was supposed to be her new home, among people who were supposed to be her new family. But instead of love, understanding and support, she found deceit, denial and resistance. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the girl's hope for a better future with her husband faded. The glittering life she was promised was nothing but a mirage. She realized that she was trapped in a reality far removed from her dreams, a reality where she was married to a man who was a child at heart, and a family who refused to acknowledge their son's shortcomings. The glittering life she was promised was nothing but a mirage. The girl was given a choice, to live in the house as a servant or leave. The girl's life in the opulent house was far from the fairy tale she had imagined. Every day was a battle, a struggle to reconcile with the harsh reality. The man she had married was very much like a child, incapable of understanding or fulfilling the responsibilities of a husband. He was a puppet, his strings pulled by his parents who were the real puppet masters. Her in-laws, wealthy and influential, saw her not as a daughter-in-law, but as a servant. They treated her with disdain, dismissing her concerns about their son's behavior. When she dared to voice her discontent, they threatened her with a harsh ultimatum. "We have enough money, our son lacks nothing. If you want to stay, you must live as you are now, otherwise leave." Her parents, hearing of her struggles, came to intervene. They tried to reason with her in-laws, asking them to at least let their son take on some responsibility. But their pleas fell on deaf ears. The response was cold and cruel. "Our son will not bear any responsibility. We brought your daughter here to serve us. If she wants to stay, she must live as she is. Otherwise, take your daughter away." The girl's parents had no choice but to leave. A few days later, her in-laws brought her back to her parents' house and abandoned her there. The girl was left all alone, her dreams of a happy married life shattered into a million pieces. The girl was abandoned in her parents' house, left to pick up the pieces of her shattered dreams. This was not the life she had envisioned. It was not the marriage she had hoped for. The ultimatum given by her in-laws was harsh and unjust, a clear reflection of the grave injustice that was her marriage. As she sat in her parents' house, she wondered about what the future held for her. Would she ever find happiness again, or was she destined to live in the shadows of her broken dreams? For a year, the girl has been living with her parents, fighting for justice, but in vain. The echoes of her cries for fairness have bounced off the cold, unyielding walls of society, returning to her unanswered. Yet, she has not allowed this silence to smother her spirit. Instead, she has transformed it into a rallying cry for change. She's been walking a tightrope, balancing her own need for justice with the desire to protect her parents from any further stress. It's a difficult act, one that requires immense strength and resilience. But she's not a girl to back down easily. She's a woman forged in the fires of adversity, a woman who knows that sometimes the only way to stay afloat is to keep swimming against the current, and swim she has. Despite the storm that has upturned her life, she has found a foothold in the world. She has started working, using her education as a lifeline to pull herself out of the quagmire of her circumstances. She's a graduate, armed with knowledge and skills, ready to face the world. She's working not just to earn a livelihood, but to reclaim her identity, to prove that she's more than just a victim of a cruel twist of fate. Yet, her struggle is far from over. Every day she wakes up to the harsh reality of her situation, the weight of a relationship that has become a shackle. Every day she grapples with the question of whether to stay or leave, a question that seems to have no easy answers. But amidst all this, she has found a silver lining. She has discovered a strength within herself that she never knew existed. A strength that has allowed her to survive, to fight, and to hope. A strength that has allowed her to rise above her circumstances and carve out a path for herself. Despite her struggles, she has managed to survive and even thrive. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable spirit of the human will. It's a beacon of hope, shining bright amidst the darkness, guiding others towards the path of justice and equality. The girl is torn between staying in the marriage for society's sake or stepping out for her own sake. Stuck in the crossroads of a decision that could change her life forever, the girl is caught up in a whirlwind of thoughts. A heavy question weighs on her heart, a question that echoes in the silence of her solitude. Should she continue to live a life bound by a relationship that exists only in name? She is a graduate and is currently employed. She has the means to survive independently, yet she is held back. The chains are not physical but societal. The fear of societal judgment, the concern for her parents' reputation, and the uncertainty of her future after divorce holds her back from seeking the freedom she yearishly longs for. Her mother's words ring in her ears. If you get a divorce, what will happen next? What will society say? These words, filled with fear and concern, are a constant reminder of the societal pressures she would have to face if she chooses to step out of her marriage. The fear of being judged, of becoming a subject of gossip, of being seen as a failure. It all adds up, creating a wall of fear that seems almost insurmountable. Yet she knows that staying in this marriage is no less than a prison. Every day, she is reminded of the deception, the betrayal, and the harsh reality of her life. She yearns for a life where she can breathe freely, live freely without any pretense or fear. She contemplates, she weighs her options. She understands that this decision is not just about her. It's about her parents, her future, her life. She is torn between her desire for freedom and her fear of society's judgment. She is trapped in a dilemma that offers no easy solution. The girl is left with a question: should she continue living in a relationship that exists only in name, or should she step out and embrace the unknown?